Welcome, everyone, to the VCT Game Changers Academy, sponsored by Verizon and AIM Labs. We have 16 teams today that are ready to battle it out for that glory and prize pool. But of course, we're focusing on groups within this first day. We're going to have 3 games, all best of ones. I'm here with Dr. Delta and Becky Bear. Hi, it's great to be able to work with you all again.
It's so great to be able to work with you too. This is going to be an absolutely phenomenal tournament. We are seeing some new names and some old names as far as teams are concerned and players. And I'm just so excited to really get into it and see what all these new rosters and old rosters have to bring to the table this time around.
Yeah, another month has come and gone. We've seen changes in the meta, and we're just continuing to see so much development in the scene. Like you said, some old faces, some new teams. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this weekend.
I'm honestly excited as well. We kind of have a little, hint as to who we think is going to win. There is a really strong team within this bracket, but we have to talk about the formatting first so that everybody knows what's going to go down this weekend. Delta, if you want to give us the rundown on what we're going to be seeing.
Sure. So today we're going to be focusing on the group stages. There will be 4 groups for this tournament and 4 teams per group. And whoever makes it out of the group stages, so the top 2 teams, they will be moving on to the playoffs tomorrow. So the top 8 will get to see tomorrow. And then we'll get to crown a champion, another Game Changers Academy champion on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting. We're gonna see who wins it out. Maybe somebody's gonna give Dart Monkeys a run for their money. That's something that goes with suspicion. We're kind of trailing a little bit. But as for the matches that we will be seeing on stream today and behind the scenes, Becky, are there any matchups in particular that you're looking forward to seeing? Maybe sometime tomorrow or today.
I mean, as you mentioned, like Dart Monkeys are one of the most potent teams that we've seen in a long time, and I got to cast their finals last time around as well from last month. So, is very exciting to see them competing, and they're definitely going to be a team to watch going into this tournament as well. I'm excited to see the. We're actually going to start off with our first match being Team Mystic Venus versus FXP Blue, and Team Mystic is like a team that you see kind of a lot of. So I'm excited to see what this roster is going to have to bring to the table, and FXP is kind of a new name to the scene a little bit. So excited to see what potentially spicy things they could have as being one of these newer rosters that we're looking at. We're also going to be looking at in our second match, Team Opulence Black versus Def Not SRN. And Team Opulence is a team that I've seen previous rosters for, and their male squad as well, and I've seen great things from them, so I'm excited to see what they're going to be bringing to the table as well, because I remember thinking that that was a great team. So they are an org that definitely has something going right as far as coaches and everything is concerned, so I'm excited to see what that is going to have shaken up into here as well. Our final match will be Final Form versus Revive Me Jet, and with a name like that, you just have to be a little excited for what they're going to bring to the table as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the teams that you said, Team Opulence Black, that team just came out of nowhere and was able to take some maps off of pretty well-known teams. I mean, they placed third in the Sakura Cup, and it's just another one of these opportunities for unknown teams to get their chance to show their stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe we're going to see FXP Blue, like you said before, Becky, see what they have to offer within the game that's going to be coming up. But of course, our matchup for today, like said prior, is Team Mystic Venus versus FXP Blue. These teams, I wouldn't say on the newer side, but more so just newer in terms of having these official matching, seeing them within GCA. We've kind of seen Team Mystic Venus a couple times before. Of course, Becky, you know a little bit more about that FXP Blue, but Delta, is there anything in specific, that you might know?
Well, I mean, we keep saying it because we're so shocked to see a new team. So FXP Blue, there's really no data on them. There's nothing really to rely on for anti-stratting or figuring out what their comps are on different maps. Like, this is a fresh team on the scene. We're gonna bring it to you live for the first time to see what kind of stuff they have to bring. On the other side, Team Mystic Venus, like was said, we've seen them around the block for a couple of tournaments. So previous Game Changers Academies, Game Changers, Sakura Cup, and these teams, or this team in particular, they have done fairly well. They kind of in the middle of the block in terms of they're able to take a couple of rounds off really good teams, and the newer teams, they've been able to take maps off of them as well. So in terms of this matchup, I am expecting things to go the way of Team Mystic Venus, but who knows? There could be a dark horse waiting.
I like exactly what you said too. I mean, you're talking about them potentially being a dark horse, and you mentioned that you knew one player in Always, and so I'm excited to see if that is a player who's been around enough and is able to kind of bring this team to victory as a result of that for FXP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always. I You may know her previously as CC is Cray. She's been a well-known player in the scene, just been around. If you are familiar with like the team Unbind Crouch, and was well known for playing Omen, which I don't know if she brings back the Omen. Omen is in meta nowadays, so she could be like ripe for this new scene. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see her in this new roster, what she's able to bring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited as well. I remember Unbind Crouch, right? The OG team that was there way back when. They honestly were pretty dominant as well in tournaments like Game Changers Academy. But I was seeing that matchup. Maybe CC's Cray can kind of give Dart Monkeys a hard time, right? Obviously, the storyline is Dart Monkeys. They were a team that's pretty dominant. They were able to make that top 8 in the main bracket in Game Changers. So that in itself is like who is going to be able to bring that challenge forth, and whether or not it'll be FXP or Team Mystic, it really just depends on the numbers, how well they do and proceed. But we will be heading into the map picks and bans very shortly in order to see what's going to be happening. But Becky, if you want to iterate on exactly what we're going to be seeing here for maps.
Oh, yes. I mean, we're going to be ending up going to Ascent is going to be the final choice, but we get to take a pick at what was banned back and forth here. I mean, this is kind of, for a best of one, this feels very standard. I feel like best of ones, you usually end up on Ascent or you usually end up on Icebox, and seeing as Team Mystic Venus went ahead and as their fourth ban said, Icebox, not going to be a thing. I think this just feels very like cut and dry. Ascent usually ends up being the case, and I mean, I like the FXP. Sometimes you maybe see a Haven, but I like
Yeah.
that they went ahead and said absolutely not. We don't want to deal with Haven. I don't like that map either, so I'm happy to see it just be the first ban on here. And Ascent does happen to be one of my favorite maps, so I'm excited to see that be the commit from these teams.
Yeah, and I
Like
think generally it does make sense that Haven was banned. Delta, maybe because Team Mystic Venus have that 83% win. But do you think it looks more tactical, rather than looking for those comfort picks on FXP?
I mean, it's hard to say because Ascent is, like Becky said, just the standard go-to map. It's what everyone's comfortable with. It's the most common map picked for Game Changers Academy, at least within the last 2 months. So there's really no sense to experiment, I guess, for these
Yeah.
group stages. You just want to. It's a round robin. You just want to get your games in and be able to progress to the next stage as best and as fast as possible.
100%. And the next stage now, right, is going to be that agent select, in order to see what will we be seeing on Ascent. Of course, generics will probably be a killjoy, but, the KO, I feel like I've been seeing that been brought out a lot more, Becky.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that KO really brings a lot to this map. Previously, you were seeing a lot of things like Sky, but there's a little bit of verticality to this map that the KO knife just gathers a little more information than that Trailblazer. So I
Mhm.
really like going ahead and utilizing something like that KO. And I think that KO just gets better and better the more that things like Jet and Chamber become iconic. Because if you are able to use that 0 point and also that ultimate to just take away those free guns or free weapons that both of those characters can have, you just get such a leg up on your opponent's eco rounds.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, but Delta, I'm seeing a Brimstone. Honestly, for a map this wide, the Brimstone is, I wouldn't say a risky pick, but in terms of comfort for a map like Ascent, do you think the Brimstone could kind of give them that edge up, or will it tear it apart for FXP?
I mean, with the new meta changes, I think both controllers are viable. You know, players are going away from the Astra, which used to be that standard pick. So I don't think their fault will be the Brimstone pick. You know, also on the side of Team Mystic Venus, there is a new name. So for those of you familiar with the team, you might be saying, hey, where is Mimi? So Mimi was one of the top fraggers of Game Changers, like
Woo!
one of the main duelists that was able to compete for that tournament. And so we kind of have been ramping up talking about this team, but if they're missing their star duelists, I mean, who knows what could happen, what changes they are going to be able to make. It looks like most of the team has continued with their typical picks. So like Luna on the KO, that's pretty standard. And Aerie, you see like the tag NMG on her, she's usually the controller for that team. So trying to switch to the Jet, I don't know. This is also an experiment that Team Mystic Venus are going to have to deal with when facing FXP.
Yeah, and I'll honestly let you guys get to it. Delta, Becky, hope you kill it.
Oh, we will, and there will certainly be a lot of killing for both of these teams as we get right into it. Looks like we're seeing some kind of standard first buys, a few ghosts for each of these teams, and some of the players with those classics are picking up that light armor. Sua going to be the only one rocking the Sheriff going into this round. These initial smokes, that initial 0 point is going to get a little bit of information onto where Lua is, and now Sua just kind of holding that nice close little angle, followed closely by that KO. But Aerie, as you mentioned, normally a controller, beautiful thing to point out, but is now kind of doing this lurk duelist position into this tree, but is going to be punished by that from Sua. But thankfully, Pretext Microbe and Violet very nicely in there and right behind, able to get a bunch of early kills onto this side for the attackers.
Yeah, are able to scale in quite beautifully. Only 2 members left of FXP. We see the Dart trying to get some information and see where the post-plant positions are, but difficult entry.
Ooh, and Jesse just in the right place. Got that low angle that makes it so hard for you to shoot at, and just able to take off those final 2 defenders from that heaven area.
Yeah, so first round going to Team Mystic Venus, going to be buying up as expected. We do see some bulldogs and other rifles coming out as well. They aren't playing around, like I said, wanting to get out of this group stage as quick and as fast as possible. So they're prompted up at the A site, and looks like they're gonna go guns blazing, trying to secure the second round.
And guns will be blazing. Aerie has picked up this Vandal, so a very potent gun to be bringing to the table here for the side of this Mystic team. Sua now with the shorty getting kind of aggressive in this smoke. The Owl Drone will be potentially able to pick up a bit of information, but I mean, right place, right time. Great sense from Sua. Picks off that opposing duelist very quickly. Thankfully, they're going to be able to pick up this Vandal with that nice little trade back, but I mean, just a great pickup to start it off for both of these teams, but still in a 4v4 situation and looking to be pretty even. We have a near mirror match, save for the difference in these 2 controllers here. The defending side with this Brimstone going to be able to, you know, throw out some mollies, get a little bit of extra damage should anything be needed, and also keep people off of this attacking side and certain little corners as well. Mostly going to be something that I'm excited to see for the attacking side, but for the moment, Pretext Microbe, little bit stuck there from that 0 point, just trying to decide if they're going to stay going towards this A site, as a lot of the defenders have found themselves towards this A site. Violet's going to do a little bit of peeking out, but the rest of the attackers moving towards this mid area. Some more dark covers going out for the attackers to be able to safely move through this mid area, but they will get caught out by this alarm bot that quickly gets shot down and does give the okay go for the defenders to move back towards this B site. Ooh, some great shots. Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Okay. Well, Spike was able to get down, but several members of TMV are missing. Harmony was able to get this Guardian, so things aren't looking as bad as they were before.
Yeah, Harmony now with the Vandal, unfortunately trying to push up through that dark cover, will meet pre-attacks Microbe's Bulldog to nicely be able to pick up the rest of those guns and be in a great place, but a lot of damage was done to that attacking side.
So much damage. So we mentioned the gamble that TMV was doing, trying to buy up, secure that round, but they lost so many guns off of them. So that was a very risky gamble. They were able to secure the round, but economic damage nonetheless. I mean, they realized it was a gamble. You saw how slow they were moving because they knew they didn't want to get the rifles off them.
Able to get that damage, and now trying to get some more. Sua getting very aggressive on this defensive side. They were able to buy up going into this round, and they're playing like they were able to do so. They know that they did a lot of damage to the gun buys going into this round for the attackers, and they're trying to play with that advantage as much as possible. Shock Dart's coming out to move Cherify back onto that A side heaven, and all of a sudden the bomb is down, and the attacking side are setting up for this post plant.
All the information available to them. They do have that drone able to spot things out. Not able to get the wall bang though, and time is continuing to tick.
Tick, tick, tick goes that bomb. Airy trying to decide if we shoot at that knife or just wait for the defenders to peek around, and thankfully very rewarded for that decision. Is now the sole remaining player for the sole remaining player is Sua for the defenders, the different jet, and is spotted out by this recon bolt. That bomb, as you mentioned, is ticking so fast, and the peeks around from the attackers will be good to finish that one up.
Okay, TMV, that's a great round for them, able to capitalize on that bonus round, and so keeping things a little bit safer for them economically. On the other hand, FXP, with that buy up, now will be having to do a pistol round to kind of save things up. I mean, at TMV, things are looking good. This time around, we'll be looking towards the B side. They have been leaning a little bit towards the A side, so trying to mix things up so that FXP don't get conditioned that way.
Posturing towards this B-side garage. The first time that this team has decided to go B, but those shock darts still coming out from that defensive side, and Flashbang also coming out to try and gather a little bit of information, and it is at least communicated that that jet has dashed onto site. Some damage going onto Airy. Nice shots coming out from the pistols of the defensive side. 2 kills picked up by Cherify and Hunky Penguin, doing a great job of holding down. Airy is on the site, but the rest of the team is down, and that's going to make it so much more difficult for this attacking side to end this 2v4 in an advantageous way, as Hunky Penguin with another nice shot. Ooh, Violet trying to hold it down. Nice little peeks around, but just not able to line up that final shot.
These rounds are just coming down to it. I mean, it's so risky. It's so expensive that they're making it. At least FXP were able to capitalize on that last win. I do like what I'm seeing from this team. They are continuing to push for information. You saw early in the round them pushing outside of A, trying to get that very vital information. So definitely know what they're doing against this TMV team, and both teams this time on a rifle, and we do have some ultimates coming up as well.
Oh yeah, we see Hunky Penguin has that Hunter's Fury, as well as Sua with the Blade Storm alongside Airy, also both jets having those locked down for the attacking side, as well as from the shadows on this Omen for Pretext Microbes. So could be using those to gather some information, get people off the site, and should they run out of bullets or need to save in the next round, considering the amount of economic damage dealt to both of these teams, we will have those available. But the first thing to start off will be Violet using this lockdown on this B site, but it looks like it is a bait, as the rest of the attackers and the bomb are hanging out towards this A site. But thankfully, this defending sided Killjoy has decided to just stay here as an anchor, and is able to at least get some of these swarm grenades off. They're not going to be able to get as much damage as I'm sure Cherify would have liked, but they're at least able to do a tiny bit of damage and stave off that immediate bomb plant that I'm sure the attackers were hoping to have.
Yeah, all of FXP already here. They didn't buy that fake out, so already here trying to get their hands on this fight.
Ooh, Violet with a
Oh,
nice lurk. I mean, this is going to be great, but it does seem like at least Sua and Cherify are at least looking in that direction and anticipating it,
oh,
and do allow for Cherify, Hunky Penguin, and always hiding up onto that kill feed, going strong for the defensive side so far. Luna is just trying to hold it down as well.
okay.
Lots of damage done, but nice double kill there. Same thing from Jesse, who was actually able to get always with a shock dart and is able to get the
No.
triple kill onto Sua, who's trying to defuse that bomb. Oh my gosh, again?
Wow. Okay. What a round. I thought that was going to go to FXP. Like I was saying, the fake that TMV tried with that lockdown didn't exactly work. FXP were the wiser, were able to get the rotate onto the A site and do a proper retake. But unfortunately, they just decided to push out, which is, usually a good decision. But Luna was waiting for them to push. And so TMV able to secure that round. And FXP again in a very scary spot with a pistol round.
Yeah, and it looks like even the buys for the attacking side of Team Mystic Venus are not looking too great either. The biggest gun is the Vandal with light armor from the side of Luna, but then the rest of the team, Spectres, a Bulldog, a Judge. Always, though, immediately trying to play in that smoke. It worked for the defensive side once, but won't work for them again here. And that 0 point is able to gather a lot of information, and enough information for Hunky Penguin to pick up that kill onto Airy, but Jesse nicely trading back here alongside Luna, who are just being terrors. So far, so good. 3 kills picked up for Luna. Cherify now also trying to get some kills back, but with 12 HP and a dream in a 1v2 situation, this is not looking good for FXP once again.
Oh, but Jesse's so low. This sheriff's just making me very scared right now.
And I mean,
Oh,
something
no.
making me more scared is that shock dart. That's like the 3rd kill that I think we've seen Jesse pick up with those shock darts.
Yeah, very talented with the utility usage, and TMV able to secure yet again another round. I do like how they are continuing to mix things up. So we saw another plant going towards the B side, and FXP on their side, I do like how they aren't getting fooled by just these little bits of utility or information. They're waiting for the right moment. But unfortunately, things haven't gone their way. There are 3 ultimates available on their side. They can have an orbital strike to slow things up. They do have even KO's ult to try to break up the attack, but it's just all about the timing for FXP.
The timing is going to be just as important this time around as Airy with this lurk. Does get a little bit caught out by that owl drone, but not looking too bad. The attackers now this time so split up, and if there was ever a time for the defensive side to capitalize, it would be this round.
Exactly right. So slow, inching their way up mid. You do hear some bit of information with that Molly, but ever so slow into mid.
Ooh, and a beautiful amount of damage actually done to Airy there. The cloud burst, giving a little bit of information and some shots through the smoke, do allow for Always to get quite a bit of damage. So very nice to have that Jet on low HP to start this off. No healers for either of these teams, so that damage will stick. And now Hunky Penguin with the Recon Bolt, trying to get a little bit of information now that they're pretty sure that with Airy's Cloudburst that they are moving onto this site. The dark cover will give the attackers enough cover to get on to the site, but with that cover falling, Hunky Penguin peeks out, finds Violet, and so far the attackers are lower. Make it not so lower, as Luna and Jesse definitely are trying to make me eat my own words. The reload coming at the wrong time, though. Always is able to pick that kill up onto Jesse, but Airy finishes it off.
Okay, TMV are starting to be able to read FPX quite well. So they had a sense that FXP were just waiting in the spawn, trying to wait for them to do the push. They're getting a sense that they are getting a little bit too passive. And so they're just sending utility their way. We've talked about how great the darts have been. We've seen the KO Molly just come out to try to clear out that area. And by the time FXP are able to make a move, they've already had a significant amount of damage, and it just makes it that much easier to pick them off. So FXP getting a sense that things are going a little bit too quickly for TMV. Timeout is it's a great time for a timeout. So just thinking about how to fix these small mistakes so that they can finally get the win on them.
Yeah, I like this decision to go ahead with this timeout. I mean, and also being able to utilize it alongside one of these save rounds that we're going to likely be seeing the defensive side go for. You're kind of able to just orient yourselves like if there is a way that we're going to be able to take a cheeky pistol round, how about are we going to do it? And we'll see if this little bit of a timeout is enough for them to reorient themselves, pick up this pistol round, and be able to convert it into some more back and forth. We are at 1-6, but there's still time for the defensive side to turn this around and give us an even half.
Yeah, like you said, it's probably going to be a safe run. We do see a Marshall coming out, and they are already on the line. Probably going to be a little bit more aggressive this round, get more information in mid.
Ooh, a nice overhead flash coming out and a beautiful opening pick from Sua with that Sheriff. Picks off Luna, who has been a big player for this Team Mystic Venus team composition. The door trying to go down. Ari getting some shots through it before it falls and takes a little bit of damage actually right back. Always trying to decide, do we go through this door or do we wait for the rest of the team to reconvene? They shoot it down right as the rest of the defenders are there, but the paranoia does come out and stop a lot of the early onslaught from this heaven side, trying to get some shots through that plywood on the floor, but not actually able to connect to anything. The dark cover will keep those members of the attacking side in hell from being seen, and now it's just a battle to see how these defenders can get onto this site and get something done. Harmony able to get a nice shot there into Pretax, but Sua does fall as well. Back and forth for both of these teams, but with the pickup of that Vandal Hunky Penguin to finish it off, and the bomb is ticking fast, but it will be good enough for the defenders.
And that is quite textbook definition for a thrifty round. We saw only a Marshall and a pistol coming out of FXP, and yet they were able to secure that round. I was a bit worried. They were so passive, just waiting by the door to welcome TMV onto the site, but they took their time, were able to slowly get the picks that they needed, and were able to secure that round. So finally able to get some rifles on them. They do have a lockdown available so that they can keep TMV off their side, and as well they have the KO ultimate to break things up as well, so things are looking a little bit better.
And just slowly trying to, get a little bit of information and also not get shot as Sua backs off a little bit there. Has Hunky Penguin to do a little bit of backup, but I like the decision that the defensive side is making. They're quick to move kind of off of where the attackers go, but if the attackers are chasing like they have been, it makes it that much more difficult. Always creeping up on two members. A beautiful double kill with that grenade from Harmony. I mean, if you know that they're hanging out in Market, you might as well get that utility damage up and running. Always now going to be dropping some of these smokes so that the defensive side can try and push on to this site. The recon bolt also giving away where Ari is and allows for Cherify to pick that one up, and the peaks coming out from the defense call them a third round into this.
All right, things looking up for FXP. I love that even though TMV were working their way up mid, FXP were able to kind of loop around and pinch them off and secure that round. So finally, TMV are kind of have to let off the gas a little bit. They will be pushed on their own pistol round or their own save round rather. And FXP's now able to invest in this operator. We haven't quite seen one just yet, so I'm kind of curious to see what holding down mid with the operator will be able to do for her.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting operator buy. I like the decision to go ahead and watch the short angle before the long angle as a result of your opponents being on pistols. Means they're probably not going to go for peeking the long angles because those guns are just so much worse in that situation. But always is forced off a little bit, going to throw out that molly and then pop into the smoke only to be met by Luna, but thankfully coming out on top for the defensive side, backing away to do a little bit of a reload as Ari is getting very aggressive into this dark cover. Matt manages to get under that owl drone and find that kill onto Hunky Penguin to even it up to a 4v4 situation. But now Sua is on site with this operator, moves at the wrong moment to miss that kill onto Jesse. Thankfully, the rest of that hair will be staying onto Silva's head, and Eri finding 2 more kills with this stinger. I mean, absolutely insane as Sua tries to jump down and find a kill with an operator at point blank range.
Yeah, unfortunately, operators aren't the best for retakes. It's a little bit difficult trying to get those sidelines while you're rolling in. But I do like what I'm seeing from FXP. The rounds that have been very close, or the rounds that have gone their way, or when they've been a little bit aggressive, we basically saw Sua just go through mid with the op, trying to get as much information as possible. So if they're able to continue doing that great information gathering, things will get a little closer for them. But yeah, TMV up to 7.
And that means we will not be seeing an even half. And if you're on this attacking side and a TMV fan, that's got to be feeling pretty good for once they move on to this defensive side. Eri getting a little bit of information and throwing out some shots, but no damage really connecting quite yet, and is continuing to just check out this mid area, try and keep control of this, make sure that nobody is going to come from behind them. That was one of the reasons that they were able to lose one of those previous rounds. So I like trying to take more control over those areas where you are finding weakness. Jesse trying to clear out Wine here and make sure that the position is good for potentially an early Hunter's Fury to get some of the defense off of this A site while the rest of the attacking side prepares to move and get this bomb down onto A.
Yeah, all 5 members are posted outside of A, drone to come in to get that information, and the ult being launched.
Ooh, very nice so far, and Eri able to clear everything out onto this site. Unfortunately, that Brimstone ultimate will come down, but no damage dealt once again. Able to stay safe and at least allow for the Killjoy on the attacking side to utilize this lockdown before too late. A very nice positioning on it too, actually, but the counter lockdown, ooh. Oh, thankfully though, Jesse, with that Hunter's Fury, as we earlier mentioned, is able to find that lockdown and take it down. But Sua, also with that lurk, I mean, we mentioned it, the times where the attackers have lost, it's because of that lurk, so thankfully able to get some information off of that. But Pre-Tax Micro is able to find a 1 as well. Eri trying to peek around, goes for the right click and misses Cherify, and now it is Killjoy versus Killjoy, both with low HP, but that bomb is ticking, and Cherify is going to be forced to leave the site.
Wow, that got me a little sweaty, just a tad, but TMV able to squeak out another round. So that was quite a round, quite an expensive round. We saw both lockdowns coming out, so a lockdown to counter lockdown, the Hunter's Fury to be able to destroy it. I think we also saw a KO ultimate to try to get onto site. So like I said, TMV trying to just close things out as quickly as possible, and possible they're going to at the last round of the half close things out as well. But Sua does have that blade storm, and she's able to pop it and try to slow things down as they approach the A site.
Yeah, thankfully avoiding that 0 point as well. Trying to find some blades onto Luna, but Luna coming out on top here with that kill onto... oh my goodness. Just blade storms back and forth, just maybe not being as successful as we maybe would have liked. But Sua, once we pick up that Vandal, is going to do just a little bit better there. And all of a sudden, a 3v3 situation. Hunter's Fury from the defensive side. Hunky Penguin going to try and go for those default plant areas and try to funnel that attacking side into one of those corners and keep that bomb from going down before the defensive side can posture to retake.
The lineup trying to get some information.
Oh, no.
But through the smoke, that's painful.
Not where you were expecting people to be, so not where Hunky Penguin was looking. Luna's able to pick that one up very nicely, and now Sua is able to actually get the jump onto Pre-Tax Microbe there, and now in a 2v2 situation, Sua dropping down is going to check this hell area. Cherify though with Sua's back, but ultimately Violet from that A-Link area able to find those final 2 kills, and TMV end the half leading at 9-3.
Yeah, as we were saying before, TMV, the team that we at least know to have the most experience going in, the favorites of this series. But FBX have been doing fairly well holding their own. We saw quite a few close rounds coming from them. For this next half, I'd love to see just the continued uh, answer to the aggression we've seen from TMV. So a couple of rounds they pushed on the defense, and those were those really close rounds. And it's interesting. They also weren't baited by some of TMV's tactics. So this could still be a close game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can change once you move aside, so we'll see
Oh.
if it's going to be a lot better. But that recon bolt just spotted so many people. I like the respect that despite TMV being very ahead, they have a ton here, and they backed off the moment that they didn't get any of those early shots to connect. And I like this reposturing that they're doing since they've moved. That dark cover has come out and is stopping the new attackers from being able to push onto that site, while we see a big lurk coming out from a few other members of the defensive side, just trying to see if they can get lucky on any other parts of the map.
Yeah, we see Luna pushing up, so much information being gathered. They basically understand that the push will most likely be A, and so are able to adjust from there.
Ooh, unfortunately, Airy missing some of those shots with that Sheriff, and Hunky Penguin also getting a bit of damage, and Pretext Micro might be in a bad spot, but not too bad of a spot to at least pick up one kill. But Violet on the scene for the defenders picks up 3 to bring us to a 1v1 situation. Luna, the only one remaining. Sua has to grab this bomb, and Luna has it in sight, knows exactly where Sua is, and now is just waiting for this little bit of a joust around the corner. But Sua, with that Sheriff, finds the 3K and finds the 4th round.
That just reminded me of like a cowboy shootout, just trying to figure out who's going to get whose head first. And that's what that last round came down to, just an aim duel. Could have gone either way, but FPX able to stay in this half with the win of the pistol. Hopefully they will be able to convert that round as well and bring this to a closer game for the half.
Yeah, so far so good, and certainly being able to pick up that first round to go into Bayragon buys. We're seeing a lot of Spectres for the attackers. That large armor shot off, and it's an absolute bloodbath to start this round off. And I mean, thankfully coming out in a 2v1. I don't think any of the attackers were expecting 5 members of the defensive side to all be on the site that they randomly chose. The 50-50 chance almost going the way of the defenders, and Luna actually doing a great job of calling this quick rotation from the attackers, and peeks out at the right time to find those final 2 kills and clutch it for TMV.
Oh my gosh. Wow, Luna definitely with a great call to make that early rotate, able to have just enough time to click heads with that Sheriff and shut down the conversion for FXP. So things are looking so much better for TMV. They're even able to buy an operator this round. Like I said, they want, okay, they returned that. But you can tell that they're feeling themselves from the last round and wanting to close things out.
They were feeling themselves for a moment and then decided, maybe
Not too much.
We'll save this for another time. And it does actually force these attackers back onto lighter buys. We're seeing 3 Sheriffs, 2 Classics for the attackers, and just gonna try and find some heads with these Sheriffs, maybe pick up some bigger guns. But that flash from Luna does mean that Sherifian always will fall, and Pretext Microbe from a completely different area code towards trees, actually able to find one with a nice one-way here, really just punishing the attackers for trying to go into that area as well. And now Harmony has to use that flash, tries to peek out, but Jesse in a different area as well, finding that off angle to finish it off and get a perfect round for TMV.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about Airy being the new addition to this squad, but you can see fitting in right well because that coordination of them pushing A just worked out beautifully. They were able to take out 2 members and get their eyes on the spike, and from there things just started tumbling so much, in fact, that FXP are like, okay, hold up, let's take a timeout. TMV are that much closer to match point, and it's within their grip. They are, like we said, getting really close to with some of these rounds, and so this isn't a far-fetched game to make it a closer game.
And FXP, I mean, we saw it previously when they were able to take this little bit of a time out. They were able to pick up 2 rounds in a row, but it's got to still be very daunting. You're going to need a lot more than 2 rounds in a row to come back into this game.
Yeah, so TMV this time looking to continue to do that default approach, have that alarm bot in mid to get some information, slow FXP down. I mean, things are looking good for TMV. They do have that lockdown. Probably won't invest it unless things get pretty dire. But yeah, let's see what FXP can come up with after the timeout.
So far, Asua doing what these duelists do best and kind of just blazing through, trying to gather information, kind of sit in one of these corners and maybe try to get a little bit of a lurk kill, is followed up by Hunky Penguin as Harmony is able to get a little bit of information about the defensive side with that 0 point. But Airy kind of holding this wine area is in a cheeky position to potentially be able to peek out and nab an early kill. And I feel like they should be once bitten, twice shy in this situation, but we do see, okay, thankfully is being a little bit more shy here as Hunky Penguin sees that one-way smoke and says, this didn't go well for us last time, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and back off, use this owl drone to get some information before blazing into this, and that will be the call. The paranoia also coming out to just make it that much more difficult for anyone on the attacking side to go into this tree area as Sua Cloudburst on the alarm bot to actually go through here and now almost completely in spawn, but actually is going to be a little bit caught out by that recon bolt. Jesse, with that information about that Cloudburst, is going to be able to peek very nicely to pick up Hunky Penguin, who is just trying to follow Sua into a great spot. Now Sua maybe isn't expecting the second member, but Pretext Microbe winning that little bit of a joust there.
Yeah, that was a great attempt to get through mid, but TMV were able to come out on top. We do have Violet just waiting here if the spike gets to go down.
Oh, and this is going to be so difficult. Pretext Microbe and Violet pick one up as Violet picks out from that smoke, and Luna to finish it off. Very nicely done, and we're just seeing such great utility usage from the side of TMV.
Right, and from FXP as well. Like you said, they were able to get that cloud smoke on the alarm bot to try to make their way through mid. Then were able to make a very sneaky run through mid, but caught out by that dart, unfortunately. So here we are at match point. FXP aren't going to be able to fight completely. They're on some Spectres and a Bulldog, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to try to bring this back, but not impossible.
Oh, tried to get a little aggressive from Airy there with that operator and watch that angle, but the Cloudburst does mean that we won't be able to hold that angle, and on top of that, the 0 point, meaning if you're not able to dash away once you make that shot as a Jet, that just is not where you want to be. And Harmony actually the first one to start us off for the attackers, but Airy, nice little trade back there, and Sua trying to get a lot of damage dealt, takes out that operator, but Violet once again just doing some great trades back and forth, making sure that every single one of these players are going 1 for 1. Ooh, Jesse also trying to get onto that kill feed. This might be the first kill that isn't actually gonna go 1 for 1, as I was just mentioning, and all of a sudden Harmony forced back by that paranoia. Cherify as well, stuck in a rough place. They know where the bomb is and they're able to pick it up, but it's just going to be that much more difficult for them to get out of this area. That open area towards mid is so scary to be in because you can be seen by so many people, and I don't know how I feel about this split decision that they're making. I guess Cherify is trying to make sure that nobody is coming from this long angle and nobody's coming from behind them, but this is just going to end up so poorly. 22 seconds left on the clock. If one of them gets caught out on their own, it's going to be that much more difficult for them to replant this bomb. But Harmony at least able to get it down. Cherify on the case. Lockdown coming out as well. And A little bit of information gathered, but the double peek from the defensive side means that Cherify will fall. The blind is able to pick up one. You know where one more of them is, Harmony. You just have to peek at the right time. Trying to get those shots, is able to find Pretext Microbe, and all of a sudden from a 1v3 to a 1v1, Violet, the final defending player remaining as this bomb continues to tick down. 36 HP on Harmony, and just waiting to hear if anyone is going for this defuse. It starts. Harmony just being so patient here and is rewarded for it with a 4K and a clutch.
Harmony, oh my goodness. So FXP again for this half able to bring a thrifty round back. So FXP just crawling out from the clutches of defeat to try to bring it back to one more round. So great job from FXP, now able to buy up, but TMV on the other hand looking pretty comfortable. We see 4 of the ultimates available to try to stick FXP or keep them off the site basically, and it's gonna be a lot more for them to crawl back and make it a tied game.
And I mean, we saw them on a broken bye last round, but it's so hard when you're against match point and you have to just force yourself to buy as much as you can every single round. We see 3 light armors and always with a Spectre going into this one. So definitely going to be at least a little bit of a rough situation as far as guns are concerned. But the smokes do go down from always, and they just kind of slow walk onto site. Nobody on the defensive side hanging out towards this A site, but that door closing will be the first information given. Not checking that other corner means that Hunky Penguin will fall, but Sua trying to trade out Airy and Jesse to finish off the other ones that were trying to go into tree. And now the final 2 of the attackers were lurking towards B, trying to get a little bit of information and split this up, but ultimately that does mean that all 4 of the defensive side are now watching this bomb that's down in tree. Ooh, Harmony getting a little bit tagged up there. Aries able to find one more onto Cherify. Harmony trades back, but won't be good enough to pick it off as Luna brings them the dub.
Okay, 13-5 by the way of Team Mystic Venus. As we were saying, Team Mystic Venus were the team we kind of expected to win this matchup, but FXP is a good-looking team. Like we said, this is the first time we've seen this team in an official game. And remember, this is also the group stages, so they do have more attempts to try to make it out of group stages. So I like what I'm seeing from them so far.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did a great job of combating a lot of the things that TMV were trying to do, but it just seems like TMV were just a little bit more coordinated. The way that they utilized their utility together, a big thing that I was seeing that felt like a kind of massive difference, especially on attacking sides for both of these teams, is the way that the Jets and the KOs played together. Jet doesn't have something like a flash, and so it's a lot more difficult to like get really aggressive if you don't have that KO kind of being buddy buddy with the Jet to be like, okay, everything that Jet lacks, KO makes up for. And
Yeah.
the amount that you get to see a KO like kind of complete those other parts of a Jet and just end up making like some beautiful, great aggressive plays from both of those agents as a result of it. We definitely saw Team Mystic Venus capitalize on it. And I think if FXP can kind of bring that same level of coordination, we'll be seeing some great things from them as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The coordination coming from Luna on the KO and Airy on the Jet was so impressive, especially Airy being the newest member on the squad. The fact that they were able to have that synergy together with a limited amount of time together, that is quite impressive and shows that they are likely candidates to make it out of this group.
Indeed. All right. Any final thoughts before we go to a little bit of a break and set up for our next round?
No, I'm looking forward to the next round. So we have Team Opulence Black versus Def Not Serenity. So just another matchup between kind of a dark horse and a team that's been on the scene for a while.
I mean, I'm rooting for a dark horse, so I'm going to be excited to see it. And if you're excited to see it as well, don't go anywhere. We're going to be doing a short break and getting ready to bring in our round 2 teams.